When you're analyzing your business, trying to figure out where a problem is, I think the first thing you need to look at is like, how have you been doing? Are you around 100,000, 300,000, a million? Or are you like, for instance, if you're at 300,000 and you've been able to kind of push up to like 400 or 500, but you just can't seem to get to a million, you have a problem. It's going to be system, process, or people. Generally speaking, if you want to see, is it a people problem? Like, you have to look at yourself first. Like, what things are you not doing? Are you working on your business, or are you reacting to everything that's working and you're working inside the business? You have to evaluate each of your people. And you also should be thinking in terms of, when you're thinking people, if you've made several jumps, like, this person's been with you since 300,000 in sales, and now you're trying to hit a 3 million, and you're stuck in that 1.5 million to 2.5 million, but you just can't get it over. Like, you probably need to examine some of the people that have been with you, because they may be in a role that they're not competent for. And it's not their fault, because generally, like, as the entrepreneur, like, you need to be teaching them and coaching them up to that standard. But that's oftentimes an area that we as entrepreneurs fail at, because you're always looking at so many different things. In Sterling, we had this problem. We had an old CRM that we were using. We weren't able to do follow-up or check on employees doing follow-up. So we implemented a new CRM, which then there's people problems, because people don't want to do whatever this new thing is. And so there's resistance. And so then what you'll find often too is like, well, you need a different, like in this case, a CRM, but then you need to get new people. And it's not that people are bad. It's just that people get comfortable in their position. They don't know necessarily what they're supposed to do next as you're growing. And then you, as the entrepreneur, don't necessarily know what you're expecting them to do, but it needs to be different. And so you're pushing them, and then people can generally jump one stage. So if you hired somebody at 300,000, they'll probably still be able to make it up to 1 million. But as you push up to 3 million, like, the person that was with you, in all likelihood, is not going to be able to make the jumps necessary to scale with the business. And it's not that they couldn't ever do that. The challenge is just that they don't know how to do that, and you as the entrepreneur don't know how either. And in time, they probably would be able to, but when you're doing rapid growth, you can't, the company outpaces what the individual's growth is. And that's where, for Patrick and I, we're people, and so we're part of the problem as we try and push growth in Sterling. Our skills as managers, our skills in what the next job that we're required to do. It's like, I spend a lot of my time on people now, and so at the level that we're at, it's like, Pat and I have to be leaders of leaders. So you have people doing things for you, but you're not necessarily setting them up and saying, all right, here is your task, and then coaching them on, doing that. You have to, whereas when you're larger, you're coaching people to implement the vision and not necessarily telling them how to do that. Whereas at 3 million, you're telling the people, this is how you're going to do this. Most of the time, the biggest people problem is the entrepreneur themselves, because when you start out, you're a jack of all trades. As you grow, your area of responsibility gets more narrow and narrow and narrower, and trying to give up responsibility and allow other people to do things is challenging, because you run the risk of allowing somebody to do something, and if you're not reining them in and kind of monitoring them and coaching them through that, it can get out of hand quickly.